lost or something, but I can't see that
Yeah.
happening, to be honest, for many people.
I'm looking forward to what's going to come next, man, because I think what's going to come next is going to be even nicer.
Do you reckon?
I believe so.
I reckon it might start getting harder because obviously everyone's going onto this furlough scheme. It's costing the government way more than they anticipated.
Yeah, I believe the way I look at this is, man, especially if you read all these economic reports and things from the past as well, you know, the government don't start giving a little bit of food and then take the plate away. So they're going to have to keep feeding so the economy keeps going up. Otherwise, it's like putting half a plate of food for someone who's very hungry. It's not enough. I think it's going to...
Oh man, I'm always hungry.
I think it's going to be a lot more to come, which is going to be really good for those who know what they're doing.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think if too much comes, though, people will just get themselves in a lot of trouble. I think, obviously, speaking to people outside this community, people are just taking everything they can get hold of, which obviously, yeah, right, but are they using it in the right ways? So I think
most people won't.
If they give too much out, then people may take it for granted and expect it to always be there. And when it needs to start being repaid back, then they'll be in massive trouble, even worse than when they started. So it's all about that planning, isn't it, really, with it? So
absolutely. Yeah. And have you guys changed any kind of course of direction in your businesses because of what's happening now, or still I've done a bit of design change on one of the properties that I'm doing at the moment.
I had consent, sui generis consent, so that was good last month, and it's got basically we had to change it a little bit, so we had to put another communal room in as well. So we've done a rear extension, and then the basement was going to be a second lounge, but we're turning it into a sort of an office. So a home office for so they've got a lounge kitchen, massive lounge kitchen, and then we're going to do the home office as well down in the basement, because the basement's it's a big basement, but the head height's only 2 meters or so. So it wouldn't be a great communal space, but as a sort of home office, I think it's going to be the way forward, isn't it? A lot of people are going to be working from home still.
Yeah, and that will add great value. I'm sure it will. Yeah.
Morning, Chris.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
I've got more people. Yeah, no. So, but nothing other than that. I've got that on, and I've got a small development which I'm looking at over in Newbury Way, which will be nice. So just trying to stay steady, really.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. I made huge changes. Yeah, I've just decided to go for. The things it's been my big dream and things for a long time, and I think that's the best time to go for it. So yeah, working towards it, man. So really excited. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know it's going to happen. So I'm just doing my little bits every day and moving towards it, which is cool.
You still doing all your running and everything?
I'm still doing what?
You're running.
No. Well, do you know what? In December, when I started training for the half marathon, I could hardly do 2Ks, and everything got sore, and I thought, I feel like a old granddad, and now I run about between 10 to 15K each time.
Oh, nice.
It's about building the habits, right? It's anything like building habits, and the run is a good proof of this. So,
yeah, no, definitely. I've been out a few times. I went out on my road bike. Got a road bike, and I went out on it for the first time, in 2 years? Day before yesterday, and honestly, I was out on it for about 2 hours, and I came home. The saddle, I got so sore I couldn't sit down last night. I had to lie on the sofa on my side. I was literally in pieces.
It's awesome. I'm renting a spin bike today, so it's going to be delivered today.
Well, it's nice. This road, I went out on the roads. The roads around me are dead. We live out in a bit out in the country outside of Reading over, and it's so nice. It's so nice to get out on the bike and not have any traffic out there. So
I think this is a perfect moment now to go and explore. I've been running around Swindon into areas where not the roads, literally going to unsealed roads and some national trails and things, and I'm getting to see a beautiful part of the surrounding areas, which is really nice, man. Yeah.
We've got obviously one dog. We're picking up another puppy in a couple of weeks, so we've got another dog coming into the house. Yeah, Neil will be happy.
shitty and peeing everywhere.
Oh, mate, I can't, mate.
That's awesome, Steve.
That sounds delightful, Stu.
We're just gonna have puppy shit and piss everywhere. Yeah, that'd be nice. Well, we had to have something nice, didn't we? Because it was meant to be our wedding last weekend, so we had to cancel that.
Well, at least you got the puppy.
Yeah, exactly. So went to get married last weekend or the weekend before.
What are you doing? Are you moving it? Yeah.
We postponed it. Yeah, so we were originally going to do it in October, and the venue were quite good. Just said, yeah, you can move it. And then we've actually thought about it, and we're just going to actually move it a full year to the to next April 24th next year. So
cool.
We've lost a little bit of money with suppliers.
Right.
I didn't take out wedding insurance or anything. Just 'cause I thought, well, it's a waste of time. Who's going to cancel a wedding? Didn't think she was going to run away or anything. So I was quite backed myself a little bit there. But yeah, no, didn't see this coming. So yeah, we've had a few suppliers who can't do the new dates. They already had another wedding booked in for that date in next year's April. But these things happen. We just lost a bit of deposit money here and there, but it's not. It's not.
Have you now put insurances in place?
No, you can't. I've tried to take it out. I'm staying with my guns. I'm not taking it out. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. So hopefully I'll still get married next year. Just got a year. Got another year of having to try hard to keep her.
Wow, man. My daughter's getting married in Brazil this year.
Is she?
Wow.
When?
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be in September. It's been postponed to December, which I think is still too close, but that's what she wants to do. So.
Yeah, we were looking at a December wedding. And then Poppy's always wanted to get married in April, so said stay with it.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Good morning. How are we doing?
Good morning.
Morning, Adam. How you doing?
Very well, thanks. How are you? How are you, team?
Awesome. Good. Amazing, Adam.
All right, good stuff, Leo.
Good to see you again.
Looking good as always on the camera. Right, let's what I'm doing here. So
are you, big man?
Yeah, good. Yeah, brilliant actually. Yeah, having a good week. Very, very busy, getting lots of cave time, sort of deep work done, which is good. How are you?
Brilliant.
Good man. Good.
Yeah, loan's gone in today. Grant's landed, loan's gone in, all sorts.
Nice.
Happy days.
It is. Happy days. Right, let me just get my... So I'm going to mute you all now, if you don't mind. 1 second. Sure I can do it. Here we are. Got it. Mute all. Thanks, guys. Right, so... Ladies and gents, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me on survival training. So we've got another interview for you this week. The guy I'm going to be interviewing, you probably know, it's Shiv Haria. He's been a board member for 3 years. I've known Shiv for 3 years since we were on the board together. We literally were on the board back when it was in Nottingham. And not only has Property Entrepreneur changed a tremendous amount in that time, but I'm sure Shiv won't mind me saying this, so is he, because he, very much came on the board in some of his early years of business, and his business has been through several step changes very quickly. So 3 years in, it's a completely different beast to how it was, and I'm sure he will go into some detail on that as to how he achieved that. You may have seen his picture that we posted on his bio, and that's actually very apt because Shiv is a bit of a beast, and he's been absolutely beasting it during lockdown. He actually was the first one to do the body transformation out of all of us, so we should credit him for even the introduction to Akash and R&T. So yeah, he's a very interesting guy. We've been on retreats together. We're very good friends, and it's an absolute pleasure that I'll introduce him now. So Shiv of Lifestyle Property People. Shiv, are you there?
I am. Adam, can you hear me?
I can. You're looking good, man. I can see you've got the you've got that thermometer in the background. Do you want to just tell the team about why that's significant?
Absolutely. So this was the first year that I actually pulled my finger out and spent 50 quid on getting that thermometer printed. Adam and I think Adam was the first one actually. It was probably about a year ago, or maybe even 2 years ago when you actually got that thermometer printed. And I was like, I've got to do it, but I couldn't gather myself to spend 50 quid on it. This year it came around and I was like, we're in lockdown, there's nothing else to do, let me just get it done. And it's just been a complete game changer. It's all about, clarifying what you're measuring. And there was, I can't remember which book it was, or Dan might have said it, It's like, what's the one number that you're measuring? And now it's just there for everyone to see. Every Thursday when we do our team call, team see what's the number that we're measuring and where are we with that number. So yeah, been game changing, that one.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you found it useful, and we'll definitely go into that now because obviously your results have been great during lockdown. So just as a bit of a background for everyone, for those of you that don't know, Shiv runs Lifestyle Property People, is a portfolio building company, and he helps people achieve financial freedom through passive style single lets. Shiv, is that right? Can you allude a bit more about a bit of a background in your business?
You could almost read off our website there. So we help people achieve financial freedom and independence through sustainable property investments. And what we're really looking at is people that are not into property. They don't want to take the risk of it. They just want an additional income stream. They don't want anything that's fancy. And what they're looking for is a great long-term sustainable investments. We do everything for them end to end. We do the end to end so that the only three things that they have to do are, number one, provide us with their purchase documentation. Number two, sign the contract papers. Number three, transfer the money to the solicitor. That's it. That's all they have to do. We do everything else for them.
Love that. We're making it very simple, very hands-off, passive investing. So, Shiv, I said we've known each other a long time. I was lucky enough to go to your wedding, Jane and yours wedding. You know, we're I'd say we're very good friends and a business associates. There's R&T Fitness for the plug. Well done. We like that.
Very good.
Yeah, I know you quite well, but everyone listening in won't know you as well. So, where was your mindset when this whole COVID crisis started? Like, where did you start and where are you now? Like, in terms of strategy, like what, because in your life, you just got married, just sort of settling down. That's the time maybe where you might think, I'm going to take the foot off the gas and focus on family. So what's it been like for you?
I think the first thing to mention is the board introduced us to the idea of wealth dynamics and the Genius U. And we've done everything as a result of that. Everyone that we employ is done through that. All our clients are effectively profiled using that tool. And the first thing that I did was I profiled obviously myself compared to other people that were on the board. And not just the board, like the program as well. A lot of people are kind of more dynamo and blaze. And I was always kind of questioning like how of this stuff is really relevant to me. I'm predominantly a tempo person. And I don't always want to go and smash it 100 miles an hour. So the first thought that I had when all this COVID stuff really became real was, is this the end of my business? Are we going to survive this? That's what I thought to myself. And as soon as I'd kind of like had that thought and let it mold for a day or two, I came out the other end and I was like, yeah, of course we're going to survive it. Like there's a really good saying that my ex-business partner Akash used to say. He said, I didn't come this far to only come this far. I've been busting my balls for 5-6 years now to build this company, and there's just no way that I'm going to let it go that easily. So really what happened was I just changed my perspective and changed my mindset and was like, rather than, are we going to end now and who's going to buy from us? It was kind of like, how are we going to get around this? And how are we going to pitch our services now? And it was really like one day when I just sat and I wrote down, what's the pitch? It was 3 or 4 bullet points now. It's very simple. And that's what we tell everybody. And as soon as they hear that, they go, oh yeah, actually, yeah, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I think the point there is you've got to convince yourself before you can convince anybody else. So I convinced myself that now was the best time to buy properties. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. You can't believe, unless you believe it, you can't sell it. So you have been on a journey. And of course, we will have that fear initially. I think everyone listening will resound with. Like that is the reality of the human psyche. So, how did you overcome that fear? How did you get that change in mindset? It's all right saying, "Well, I suddenly changed my mindset," but how? How did that happen?
So I think obviously it goes without saying that Adam, you say that we're good friends, but as well as being good friends, like we. As the board, we work really well together to help each other when they need help. And I think a lot of that at the time was the support that was coming from the board. It was just as simple as saying, look, I'm feeling like this, opening up, leaning into the board, and people saying, oh, I'm feeling like this as well. And have you considered this? and that support network, and obviously everyone's doing great things, and they're posting on things they're doing. And I was like, I'm not going to be the weakest link here that just rolls over and dies. I'm going to take this as far as it's going to go. So that's exactly how it happened.
Come this far just to come this far. That's really cool. So you went from perhaps, like I said, just sort of thinking, okay, is this over? Or no, it's not over. But so now, what's happened? Like you've gone on the front foot. It looks like from where I'm sitting, you've gone in full attack mode. So what's happened?
Yeah, we really have. I mean, so what we've done is we've changed our pitch around slightly, and we do this every month. It's like, why is this month the best month to buy? Why is this month the best month to buy? And I came up with a pitch. Why is this month the best month to buy, or this period right now because of coronavirus, and all the stuff that Dan's saying about coronavirus, best time in history, gold rush, all that stuff. It's all playing into the same narrative. And the point for us is, because our clients are long-term investors, the question is not, is this the absolute best time in history to buy? The question is, in 10 years' time or 20 years' time, are they really going to care whether they spent 5 grand more or less on the property when they're worth 150 grand? Probably not. The people that bought London houses at £30,000 that are now worth 600, 700,000 pounds, do you think they would really care whether they bought it for 29.5 or 31.5? Like, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So one is the rental return, which obviously works out and tops out for them. But the cherry on top is that, don't worry, in the future and going forward, it's going to be okay, because that's just what happens with property. And even if you don't make anything on the property, you'll still have made the rental return. I think we pitched that out to our clients. I think I mentioned to you that there was just literally a couple of things that we did. First of all, I started focusing on sales. Dan came up with this a couple of years ago, and again, because I was not a dynamo or a blaze, it didn't really resonate with me. And the phrase is, sales solves everything. And I just replayed that to myself, and I said, we've got a problem here. How do we solve it? Let's just do sales. Let's just go out and do sales. So one is we focused on sales. Two is we started to have deeper conversations with people. I'll just touch on this bit, Adam, because I know we've talked about it on the board, but for the benefit of the people that are here, people saying, why are you looking to invest? And as typically they would all say, because I'm looking to make a better return, because I want, I want to plan for my retirement or something like that. What we started doing now is basically going a little bit deeper into that to say, but why do you want that? And really trying to connect with them emotionally rather than just logically. And what it's done for us is it's turned the whole conversation on its head. So whereas previously it was like, what return can you give me? What guarantees can you give me? Now it's much more about a emotionally led decision that's justified by the returns. So the conversation is not about returns anymore. The conversation is about, what am I going to achieve by going ahead with you? So focusing on sales, changing the conversation to a more emotional and deeper conversation has really been kind of game changing. And then obviously because of coronavirus, I think that there's always people that want to buy property, and now, and what we've identified is the best reason to buy right now, which is coronavirus. And the impacts of that. So it's given a lot of people the time to sit down, understand their finances, realize that their jobs may not be as secure as they thought they were, that they need a secondary income stream, and then look for people that are that they know, like, and trust, that are professional enough for them to decide that, actually, you're the guys that we want to go with. Like I said, we've been building this brand of professionalism for 5 years. I've just been this week having case study conversations with some of our old clients, and I always ask them with this one question to end, which is, what are the 3 words that you would use to describe Lifestyle Property People Service? And there hasn't been one client yet that hasn't said the word professionalism or professional or something like that. So we've been building that into our brand for a while, and it's just paying off now.
Fantastic. I mean, it's all about playing the long game. A couple of things that jump out. It's right for sales, and this will be relevant to lots of people who are listening, because obviously not everyone's going to have a portfolio building company, but lots of people will work with investors. So let's just talk a little bit more about how you're getting investors who are all also going through their fear and scared, how you're managing through this emotional connection that you've sort of alluded to. But I think it's worth digging a little bit deeper in that, because people may not really understand what that is. So how do you take someone who thinks you must be out of your mind to buy any more property right now to this is an amazing time to buy property? So can you go into a bit more detail on that?
Yeah, sure. So I think the first thing is like being genuine in that opportunity. Like, I don't think this is something that you can just fake. I think that I genuinely believe their goals. I genuinely believe that there'll be people on this call right now that will say, I can help your clients better than you can help your clients because I can offer a better return. And I'll say, just because you can offer a better return does not mean that you can help my clients better than I can help my clients. They come to me for much more than just the return. And believing that you can offer them that to start with is definitely the first part of this. And then in terms of walking them through the fear, it's about them understanding the fear and then them understanding the opportunity and making their own decision about, is the fear going to trump the opportunity, or is the opportunity going to trump the fear? There's a lot of people in this world who, and I used to be one of these people, as a tempo steel type person, fear often stops me from doing stuff. And what I've realized over the years in business is that you can always change your decision in the future. If something goes wrong, you can make the best of it and you can make sure that it works out okay. But if you don't take the action in the first place, then you just will never ever know. So it's better to take the action, be wrong, do something about it, than to never know in the first place.
So how can you be so sure then? Because you obviously have to believe what you're selling to be successful in sales. So how can you be so sure?
So from our perspective, I think some of it is definitely because having delivered this service for 3, 4, 5 years now, we've seen the impact that it's had for some of our earlier clients. Like the property, I was talking to a guy yesterday, one of our clients who's given us a case study. He said, I bought my property for £68,000. We weren't even talking about this, but he said, actually, do you know what? I've realized, I forgot how good you were and I want to buy another one through you. Now, at least doubled in that time, if not more than that. But more importantly, the house prices have gone up massively. So he's thinking to himself, I want to buy this house at £68,000. But there is no house really that we're going to buy at £68,000. The house that I showed him was £112,000. Some of you might have seen it on my Instagram, but it still gives a good return because the rents have increased. So the reason I can be so sure is because I've seen it happening in the past. And I can see that in the future, we're going to do the same thing again. In terms of being in line with my own values, some of the other thing that I believe is that if something goes wrong, we will make it okay. Like, we'll work with the client to make it okay. I'll give you an example. If we say to the client, we'll rent your property out for £600, and then for whatever reason, it doesn't rent for 600 and it rents for 550, for example.
Yeah.
Expecting. Did you catch me?
Yeah, I've got you. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. That's not really what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be 600. You said it was going to be 600. If there was really that issue, we'd say, don't worry, we'll cover the £50 a month. It's £600 a year. It's not really going to impact us that much. But we're willing to work with them to say, what's the best solution for you? What are you looking for out of this? Are you looking for us to cover it for 12 months, or are you looking for, something else? And understanding what people are looking for emotionally means that you can then, when things do go wrong, you can help them see how it still meets their emotional checklist, while it may not necessarily meet their financial, if things do go wrong from a financial perspective. So yeah, I think that it comes down to being the person that you are. And I know that whatever happens, I'll never lose clients' money. I will lose my own money before I lose clients' money. So I know that.
That's amazing. That really is amazing, Shiv. Have you always been this way?
I'll tell you guys a little secret. This is to stay on this call. A few years ago, we are a sourcing company that takes all of our clients' funds up front. We did that a few years ago because some of the clients that sometimes were, pulling out last minute, etc. So we take all the money up front. So unlike most people, we have the opposite problem, which is that we have loads of money in our bank account, and our challenge is how do we manage that so we don't end up using clients' money before we're supposed to use it. So that's the challenge that we had. A few years ago, we were in a situation where we'd actually done that and we'd actually used a lot of the client's money. And then we ended up where we were like, well, we still got to deliver this. It's going to take us 6 months to deliver this, 10 grand cost every month. That's 60 grand, but there's not 60 grand in the account. What are we going to do about this? And it was through it because we did small sales and, delivered it. But that taught me I never want to be in that situation again. And what we've done ever since is we've created a client account, money goes in that account, and we drip feed it through into our operational expenditure account. One of the things that we talk about on the board a lot is about how you want to feel poor but be rich, or feel poor but be wealthy. Our bank account, our operational expenses bank account, which is where we pay all of our bills from, like constantly has less than 20 grand in it. There's loads of money sat in the account in all the other accounts that I actually see on a day-to-day basis always has less than 20 grand sat in it, because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that we've got loads of money sitting around.
Well, I think. Well, thank you for sharing that, and obviously that will stay within the community. I think that it's the danger of living off the bank balance. That is the danger at landlord level when you start, is you're just living off the bank balance, and that's such a good example of that, and why we teach not to do that. So thanks, Shiv, for that. It's great.
Yeah.
So we learn our lessons the hard way. We play the long game, and I love the sentiment about you'd rather lose your own money before a client's. I think that really speaks volumes about the business. I don't see how you can't win it in a long-term strategy like that. So that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
What other, in terms of communication? So I mean, obviously you're a prolific social media marketer. So has that been the main form of communication? If you're not following Shiv on Instagram, like, do it just for the bants, because Shiv posts everything from his pictures of his dad to walks, to the gym. So it's like, what was your communication strategy, Shiv? Has it just been the same? Has it changed?
So this is a really interesting question, because I would say that I listened to what we spoke about on the board a few years, like when we first started on the board. The main message was with anything that you put out on social media, it was always consistency beats clever. That's all it was. And my goal for the first year was, I want to make sure, if you go onto Instagram right now and you look at the top people, the people that are in your stories, the people that have posted the most will be in your stories. And that's
Shiv Haria. Shiv Haria's in my top.
Yeah, exactly, because I've posted a lot. And that's the point. Like, the people that are seeing your stuff, the people that recognize your name, is because you posted loads. It doesn't matter really what you're posting. Initially, I just want people to get to know my name and get to know the name of Lifestyle Property People. And then eventually they can then start on the links and, go into our websites and all that kind of stuff. But initially, it's just a case of, I want them to get to know our name. So I think the key here is, consistency beats clever. Post often, and I think you just have to get yourself into that mindset. I'm always like so impressed by how Dan manages to, anything that's going on, he'll comment on it. He'll know what's going on. He'll put a post out about it. He'll be the first one to action that stuff. And it's been an inspiration to me to say, actually, I need to get into that mind frame. And anything that happens, any picture that I see, I think, how can that be a post? It's just the way that my mind now works. I never used to be like this. I used to hate social media. I used to want to stay as far away from it as possible. But I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for my business. Anything that I post on social media, that was another point. I think it was Gary Vee that said, are you a consumer or a producer of social media? Do you consume the content, because that's bad? Or do you produce the content? I am a producer of social media. I don't sit there and flick through social media all day long every day. I've never been through and tried to find a hashtag. I don't do any of that stuff. I produce stuff so that other people can see it, so that I can then ultimately sell more stuff in my business and help more people. So yeah, are you a consumer or a producer? Be a producer, not a consumer.
I agree. I mean, honestly, like for everyone listening, that is just absolutely textbook. I mean, like it's absolutely textbook what you're up to, and it's obviously working. So yeah, like fair play to you, and keep them coming. So as again, you've reminded us, I can see the R&T fitness. And ladies and gents, by the way, if you've got any questions for Shiv, there'll be some Q&A at the end. So I know there's a question coming from Mo already, so we'll make sure we answer that at the end. So moving on from business, then we know you're a keen fitness guy. You did your transformation a couple of years ago. You wanted to have abs at your wedding. You've done all that stuff. What are you doing to stay mentally and physically fit during lockdown, Shiv?
So this is not supposed to be a plug for Akash, but my renewal with him is coming up. I decided that rather than do the monthly package with him, I just wanted to tie myself in, because if I tie myself in, I don't have to worry about it. It's just, I've got to check in every single Monday with him. So I tied myself in for a couple of years, and then this year it's just about to come up for again. He said, do you want to do the same thing again? I said, yeah, fine, let's do that. Tie myself in again. The thing that's changed what I'm doing is, and this is across the whole board, we do this, right? It's getting the steps in every day, making sure that we're getting X number of hours of sleep, whatever that is for you. At the moment, right now, for me, it's 8 hours. It's not 7 or 6 or whatever, it's 8. I love getting 8 hours. I get to bed by 9, I wake up by 5. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 9, but that's been a game changer. I make sure that I've got, give me 1 second.
No, please, absolutely.
This is the answer to your question. Do you guys remember doing this? Handful of habits. This is exactly what it is. It says here, 5 a.m. wake up.
Nice. We're loving that.
Prime time is your idea, Adam. You taught me that one. Journal and calm. And it's just, keeping your habits up. That's what it is.
Is calm meditation, Shiv? Do you meditate?
Yeah, so calm. When I wrote this was obviously a while ago. I used to do the meditation app, the Calm. What I now do instead of that meditation app is I use my journal to just reflect on the things that are going on. So it's in the journal is every morning you write down what your 3 things that you're grateful for. Every evening you write in itself. It just makes you a better person, I think. You then write down your goals every day. So what are your monthly or quarterly goals, and then your 3 daily goals as well. Put that down. At the end of the day, I then finish off with what's the lesson that I've learned today, and what have I done today that I could have done better. So end with that. Actually, the journal that I use is called the Self Journal, SELF. The Self Journal. It's quite expensive, but it's very, very good. I think there's a lot of people that use that.
Yeah,
on the board as well.
I mean, I'll give that a massive thumbs up as well. The best self journal. I used that for a couple of years. It's fantastic. I think it gives you a nice framework to work to. It just sounds like you've got your routine down, your habits down, and you're just executing that. It's not like you're not having to think. You do what it says every day. You paint by numbers, and at the end equals success, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, like one of the things that I think has been good for me, I suppose. I got married in November last year. My wife, who was doing this business with us, has started her own business. So we're both busy doing our business, but we don't have any kids, which means that obviously we do get a little bit more time than most people. So it's quite nice to say, well, this is what's important to us, and know what's important to us, what our value systems are. So right now, building a business is one of my top values. So I'll spend a lot of time doing that. Health is a top value of mine. So I'll make sure I get those things in there. So I've done all of this stuff, but I've done this stuff, I want to say, from what I can see, because I don't have kids. And not to say you can't do this when you've got kids, but right now during coronavirus time, I'm sure it's really hard, and I don't want anyone to feel bad that they haven't, smashed it out of the park during coronavirus, because it's what's important to you is what I think the message is. As Dan says, life by design, not by comparison.
Absolutely. So yeah, people shouldn't be listening to this and thinking, I haven't done this or I haven't done that. I mean, the goal is to just get inspiration, because it's all about what's important to you. So you've got your values; they're very clearly identified.
Yeah,
we talked about values with Dan on Friday when we were talking about his business values. Just give us a bit of an insight. How did you discover those values? Because there'll be a lot of people sat here saying, "I've heard values banded around loads. I think I know what my values are." Like, because that is life by design, isn't it? So how have you gone about that?
Yeah. So I met somebody. I met a woman called Mamit Chowdhury, who is basically the head trainer for John DeMartini. Some of you may know DeMartini course. And he does a lot. He's written a book called The Values Factor, and he does a lot of stuff around like what your values are, making sure that you're congruent with the things that you want to do, and that you are. He ultimately says that everything that you that you find difficult to do is because it's not in your values to do that. She's got a 13-question test. It takes less than 20 minutes to do, less than 10 minutes to do. You go through it and you just write that down, like, here's my answers. At the end of it, it goes, there are your values. And I was like, what? The first time I did it, which was probably about 2-3 years ago now, I was like, wow, like, that's so me. How did I not, how have we never realized this before? If you want her details, by the way, I can put you in touch. She's absolutely fantastic. So John DeMartini, and then she's the trainer for him. Her name is Mamit Chowdhury.
Thanks for that, Shiv. Yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend John DeMartini for those of you that haven't. And he has an online values test, and I know your coach is so fantastic. So that's brilliant. So it's been a hell of a lockdown. Just to summarize, actually, in terms of tangible results, where are you at? Because I'll let you. I don't want to steal your thunder. What have you actually achieved during lockdown for yourself in terms of growing the business?
Do you know what? It's really rare that you sit and you reflect on how far you've come. I'm really bad at that. And what I know and what I can see now, having had some time to reflect on it, is we typically sell or buy, I should say, 5 houses a month. And as a result, we typically get 5 new clients a month on board to buy houses. We've had coronavirus during obviously March and April and now in May. And as a result, one way of thinking about it is that, we shouldn't have done any business at all in March or April or May. What we did, though, is we hit our 5 properties in March, 5 properties in April. We've sold out 5 properties for May. We've sold out 5 properties for June. And we sold out so far 4 properties for July. So like we've completely stacked out. And of course, we're not going to be able to buy properties at certain times. We're going to have to put them all together a little bit. But yeah, we've I can't remember what it was. I think I said we've done about 20. We've done about 25% of our yearly target, and it's this is like 2 months into the year, April. So in fact, one month into the financial year, we've done about 20% or 25% of our annual target.
I mean, that is very impressive. Like, you basically filled your investor pipeline for the first quarter in the first month. It's just very impressive.
And of course, the point is, like, let's make hay while the sun is shining. Like, let's keep going. Let's get as many investors as we can, because who knows when this train is going to stop? Who knows when things are going to turn? Like, now's the time where if people want to buy, I'm going to get them all on board. And get all the money in the bank, etc., and then basically spend the next 6 months. And I say me spend the next 6 months, but delivering all this stuff. And Adam, as we've discussed many a times on the board, like, there's definitely a trip to Thailand for at least a month, if not a couple of months, involved in my plans.
Good man, we love that. We love big. If in my mind, if everything fails, I'll just move to Thailand, because I mean, Thailand is just it's so cheap to live there, and it's beautiful. So
absolutely, and I think the like results are obviously, so those are like the tangible results of we've been able to make all these sales, etc. But as well as that, like, what we've done from a win to hit list perspective has been insane as well. Like, we've I think I sent you guys on the board that map that we've created of all the properties that we bought, and it's got over 150 properties.
I've seen this map. It's absolutely nuts. There's like 150 odd properties on there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Or something?
So it's all those properties on it. We've also basically done case studies, or we are currently doing case studies with each of those. It's really we never used to ask this question of, why is it important for you to achieve these things? We're now going back, asking those questions, putting them all into case studies, and we're going to have 150 case studies at the end of this. And that's going to be a real big game changer. The team are really getting on with what they're doing. One of the things I'm working on right now is the metrics dashboard and how I can manage the team by metrics, not by, I don't know, physically being there or however you manage before you get to metrics. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's happening to improve the business, to work on the business, as well as just getting the sales in the door as well. So yeah, I think we've taken a massive step forward in the last 2 months, really.
It's very impressive, Shiv, and I'd say you talk about building your business being your number one value. Like the way you're lighting up when you're explaining how you've built your business during lockdown just shows me that it is your number one value, because the energy coming out is brilliant. It's really impressive, and it's great to see. I'm sure everyone listening is taking a lot of energy from that. So thank you. Just wrapping up, and maybe do some questions. 3 quick punchy top tips for the team, how they can thrive during lockdown. What would you say?
Okay, so this one's like pretty simple actually. So first one is like mindset is everything. I wouldn't be, smashing it with sales and all that kind of stuff if it wasn't for that one day when I sat down and changed my mindset from, are we going to go bust, to actually there's no way that I've come this far to go bust. So mindset is everything. That's the first one. The second one is that someone once said to me, live a few years of your life like most people won't, so you can live the rest of your life like most people can't. A lot of you will have heard this saying, and there was, I say in my past, between 20, I spent 3 years living in a HMO room in Leeds, where all I did every single day, 6 days a week, was I got up, I went to see agents, I went to see properties, I bought and just all of that kind of grind. Like literally 3 years straight, I did that. And that was for me. And now, like living those years like that has enabled me to have a great team. And, I every day I go for a walk at 3 o'clock because I feel like it. 3 to 5 o'clock is just walking time. But the only reason I'm free to do that is because I've got a team that are delivering a lot of this stuff. The final one is, this is probably going against what Dan said the other day, but is eat the cake. Like life's about enjoying it. So if you want to eat cake,
If I've seen you, Ab, you're not eating any cake.
No, you say that. Do you know what I was saying to somebody the other day, Adam? I regimented with what I eat Monday to Friday because I want to be at high performance Monday to Friday. I don't want to think about it. I want to have it all prepared. I prepare all my food on Sunday, or at least my wife does. And then on Saturday, Sunday, I'll eat popcorn, I'll eat ice cream, I'll eat cake, I cook brownies. And then someone asked me, what's the macros for those brownies? And I was like, I don't know, like 200 grams of sugar went into those brownies. Who knows? So I'm a definite believer of like, eat the cake. Life's about swings and roundabouts. It's not about being, 6 packs all the time. It's about, as someone said, you don't feel like you need a holiday from it. And I love my life and I don't feel like I need a holiday from it.
Amazing. Shiv, honestly, like wise words of wisdom. What 3 great tips. Thank you, man. That is like much appreciated. Couldn't agree more. I've been eating lots of cake at the weekends, and life is for living. I'd share your sentiment on that. You can't delay gratification forever. So yeah, definitely lots of realizations during lockdown along the same vein. So as promised,
do you remember when we went to Mallorca? Was it last week or last year or the year before? And we were like not eating cake. Yeah, about that. We need to eat the cake.
We do. Eat the cake, drink the beers, rent the speedboat. We do it all, 100%, everything.
100%.
Life is. But I said to Dan and I were talking the other day, and I said, your life is what you do. You're like, what was the saying? I said, how we spend our days is how we spend our lives. It's if you want to go for a walk between 3 and 5 in the afternoon, you better start today because that's life. So make it happen, But equally, there's a time to work hard and there's a time to level up, which you've done. So like everything, it's a balance. So Yeah, ladies and gents, I say it's going to be an absolute cracker. Shiv is an officer and a gentleman. So, Shiv, thank you so much for joining us. Have you got any questions, ladies and gents? There has been some questions actually in here while we just do that. So, the values factor, Steve, is John DeMartini's book. Yes, that's right. But if you go on the website, there is actually a values test you can do online. Isn't that right, Shiv? You can literally.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you go to Google and type in the values test by John DeMartini, I'm sure it will come up. It's not very long, and it's really great. It will just help you understand what. And the thing that he says is, you have loads of values, and your values make you who you are, and there's no one that's exactly the same values as you, and so there's no one that's exactly the same as you. But here's the thing: the kicker is, out of all the values, you only focus on the top 3. Like, you will only have time to focus on the top 3. So if making money is one of your, your 4th or 5th value, and you think, why am I not making money?
Exactly. So Anna Marie, I've just posted that in. I've just found the link and I've posted that there. So Mo was asking about the one number you mentioned at the start of the call.
Yeah.
Obviously, and you mentioned dashboards and metrics, and I know you were talking about the move where landlord level, or it's certainly investor level, is all about you're with your team, you know how they're doing, you can feel how the business is doing. You really, you don't need the metric because you know how the business is doing because it's instinctive. Whereas when you get to entrepreneur level, you want a dashboard, you want to be able to drive the business through the dials rather than feeling the engine. So what was that one number, and what's that process?
So Mo, the one number was about, I was getting myself confused because, I tried to, I won't bring it up right now, but I've got a different metric API dashboard or something like that. And I've tried for the last 2 or 3 years to try and create this monster document that has everything in it and measures everything, like the one that Adam has actually. In the end, I've just realized that that's not how I work, and it's too much for me to focus on that. Somebody on the board must have said it, it might have been Dan, that just said, look, what's the one, or in fact, it might have been you, Adam, what's the one number that you're focusing on? And I looked through it and I was like, what is the one number that we're focusing on? And the one number that's really important for us, because we know like all the other bits and bobs and whatever, the one number we're focusing on is making sure we make 72 sales, 72 properties agreed this year. So 72 properties agreed, out of which 12 of them fall out of bed. So we have 60 properties agreed. We made 60 sales effectively. So we want to make 60 sales. So that's what our one number is. It's like the number of sales that you're making. Everything else after that is important and it's good to measure. But even if I don't measure the rest of it, if I'm doing the number of sales I'm making, that's what that one was about.
Happy days.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's
right.
actually we've just gone through a similar exercise with us. We were tracking our HMO room sales, and we had like number of inquiries split by channel. We then had like total inquiries. We then had like dropouts. We had like dropout percentage. And it was so complicated, and our occupancy wasn't that good. And all that matters is what's the occupancy. It's like all the other bits. Like we know that probably 20% or whatever is going to drop out, and it's just like you say, it's really important to do. So, did you say that was from a book, or
say again?
Did you say that concept's from a book, or?
I don't know, to be honest. I think that everything that we discuss is probably from some book, but
I
get everything from the board.
From Traction.
Traction. It's called Traction. If you haven't read it, it's a brilliant. It's a methodology. It's obviously different to the Property Entrepreneur Blueprint, but you can definitely take some nuggets out of there. If you haven't read that book, Traction's brilliant. Go on.
What's
Shiv.
also good, Mo, is to have it visual.
Yeah.
I'll show you, like I said, this thing that looks a bit like a. I won't say it.
It looks like a big thermometer.
But this thing over here, inspired by the Goth, is really the thing that changes it, because it's no longer just something that you're measuring like a number.
Yeah.
Having it visual and having it in my office, as soon as I walk in the office, I see that and I'm like, right, I know what I've got to do today.
That's amazing. Thanks, mate.
Don't underestimate. Like whatever you manage, whatever you measure will improve. Like without a doubt. And if you make it visual, if it just like scorecards is one way to do it. We do it online with scorecards now, or one big thing in the office, or whatever it is that works. Like honestly, it's success and failure, very predictable. It's just a given. And if you're bringing people back to it every week, every day, whatever, like through an SCS or a check-in or a one-to-one, if the first thing you do is what's the thermometer, they can't escape it. So it's it's like a really, really good tool. Final question, Shiv, before we log off. Josh has got a question for you. Who is your favorite board member?
I don't know if Josh asked that. Is it Josh that asked that? Or was that someone else that asked that?
Oh, it's come from anonymous. I must have just thought it was Josh. No.
Obviously, to maintain parity amongst all the board members, to make sure that I'm not outcasted immediately, I have to say that it's obviously all of you equally.
One team, one dream. Gracious as ever, Shiv. Shiv, you've been an absolute gent. Thank you so much for joining us. If there's no more questions, I'm going to log off and let you get on with smashing some more sales. So thanks, man. Much appreciated.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. Cheer, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you at 11 a.m. for some more content this Friday. Dan and I will be delivering as normal. So we'll see you then. You're welcome, everyone. Take care. Cheers, Shiv. Cheers, Mo. Cheers, everyone else. Bye-bye.